How's it going, everybody? Today we're in Luke chapter 5, verses 20 through 24. Seeing their faith, he said, "Friend, your sins are forgiven." Then the scribes and the Pharisees began to think to themselves, "Who is this man who speaks blasphemies? Who can forgive sins but God alone?" But perceiving their thoughts, Jesus replied to them, "Why are you thinking this in your hearts? Which is easier to say, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or to say, 'Get up and walk'? But so that you may know the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins," he told the paralyzed man, "I tell you, get up, take your stretcher, and go home." Jesus is preaching, and there's Pharisees and teachers of the law who were sitting there, who came from, it says, every village of Galilee and Judea, and also from Jerusalem. And they bring a man who's paralyzed, can't move. The crowds are so big, they drop him from the ceiling. And so he gets dropped down, and that's where we start off on verse 20, where Jesus says, "Friend, your sins are forgiven." Immediately, the Pharisees and scribes are thinking, this is blasphemy. This man is not the Son of God. He doesn't have the authority to forgive sins. He's just a human. That's what those Pharisees and scribes are saying. But then, or they're not saying that. They don't say that. Jesus forgives. And then the Pharisees and scribes think to themselves, he can't do that. He doesn't have the authority to do that. He's just a person. But Jesus knows their thoughts and says, nothing spoken aloud. Since Jesus says your sins are forgiven, nothing spoken aloud. And then Jesus says, "Why are you thinking this in your hearts? Which is easier to say, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or to say, 'Get up and walk'?" It's so much easier for a person to say, just in this context, "Your sins are forgiven," because we can't see that his sins are forgiven. We don't know. We can't see that physically. It's easier to see a paralyzed man get up and walk. That'll catch your eye, rather than someone saying your sins are forgiven, because they very easily could not be if it's just a random dude saying that. And so Jesus says, but so that you know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins, he tells the paralyzed man to get up and walk as a physical representation of Jesus' power. Jesus didn't need to do that, but he did it to show the physical representation of, I am the Son of God. And so just thinking throughout our lives, there's instances where Jesus is acting on it, and it may not be physical. It may be something that we don't even realize is Jesus working. But if you just trust the process and really just don't doubt, having that blind faith is so important. But yeah, just thought I would share that story. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow.